Thrones is the third full-length album from Deathchant, and this is a Los Angeles-based heavy rock band who have influences from stoner rock, doom metal, and I would say just kind of classic heavy rock in general, and you'll hear that from the second they fire off their first guitar solo, because all of them on this record are basically dual guitar harmonies, heavily influenced by, I think, what Thin Lizzy is primarily credited with introducing to the heavy rock and heavy metal spectrum, and the rest of their work is influenced by classic psychedelic rock, the minutia of that, as well as uh, sort of rougher side of stoner rock and whatnot. So there is sort of a punks making heavy rock feeling to this, but there's also an effective boogie to all of it that feels very 70s rock, and it fits well on the RidingEasy roster as something that's a little bit different, but is certainly classic in its main motivation. So I reviewed each of their records to date, but I didn't have much to say about Waste. It was kind of a step up. It was to bigger riffs, something a little more, bit more heavy metal, and they tamed some of the noise, the sort of noise punk screeching aspect of their sound, and leaned into something that I would associate with kind of sort of like a new wave of British heavy metal, leaning towards the Lizzy side of it. And today, bands like Gypsy Hawk, I think Gygax is what they do now, and the Golden Grass are generally where I would make comparisons. The latest Black Wizard record, Live in Oblivion, if you remember that record, it does have its parody with this one, except this is maybe a more stylized and personal take on it in a different direction. Anyway, we'll get to one of these catchy-ass songs and go from there. So while this is a darker record focused on introspection that is meant to free the mind of its shackles in terms of how we oppress ourselves and how others maintain control over us, it's kind of an exuberant and really expressive heavy rock record that has a lot of great dual leads firing off at all times, and it helps that they can write a riff along with that, and we get right to that with both of these singles for this record, where Mirror is a quick, easy jump in and hook, probably plays off really solid live, and Chariot, which is my favorite song on this record, where there's a little bit more of a maze to the riffs, and it has all the effectiveness of the main hooks from Mirror just as well. It's a very passionate and sort of howled song as well, and so I found that very effective. Now, they're showing all sides of the band on this record, so it isn't just those big hits and those big leads. There are some slower ballad-type songs like Mother Mary, where they sit you down, and it's not quite blues, but the song Earth, towards the end of the record, takes a bit of a chill pill as well. And we get an actual doom metal song that is sludgy and heavier there at the end of the record with Tomb. So we do get a bit more of the expanse. We get these longer pieces from the band and see what else they can do. But they also focus on their signature really effectively, where it stays kinetic and in motion at all times. But they're kind of buzzing through the 3.5 minute songs hardest, and that is kind of where they're going to make the biggest impact for most people up front. And when you go back in for the details, there is a lot of depth to this record, so it's something I enjoyed quite a bit. I was sort of, I've been following what they've been doing since they started, so this was, it was cool to see that everything came together for this record. Like, the previous record was almost there. Like, they were just about there, but they just needed something else that wasn't quite as repetitive in terms of their oeuvre, and now they've shown what they can do here on this third record, and they pretty much hit it right on for me. So check that out if you're interested in heavy rock of a different caliber, and read my review if you'd like more details on my thoughts.